All right, thank you very much for joining us. This is AJ Miller with the AJ Miller Time Podcast. We're going to go a little old school today, and we're going to talk about ASR concrete cancer. I have not had one of these in a couple years, but I really wanted to dig into the ASR thing. ASR is an alkaline silica reaction, basically, within some of the pools, or we'd say around 7,000 of the pools in Central Texas. I personally have ASR in my pool, and I've been fighting with attorneys and lawsuits, and not only just doing that, but I've been trying to help the community as a whole, all over Central Texas, actually all over Texas. For the most part, everything that we've been dealing with ASR has been in Central Texas. We've done K-View, been on television. We've created ASR classes, CE classes for real estate agents. We're just trying to get the word out there. And what I wanted to do from the first podcast that we did a couple years ago was kind of bring everything to fruition a little bit more into where we are right now, as you know, ASR is kind of unfolded, and most people know it's kind of like the 5 or the 7 ways of Kevin Bacon, where everyone kind of finds their way to Kevin Bacon. If you don't know about it, you probably know, or don't have it, you probably know somebody that does have it. So we're going to go over a couple things, so just kind of stay with me. This could be for you too if you're thinking about buying a pool. We're also going to follow up with this. I have a pool builder, Kelly Pool, coming in with Lakeside Pools, and the ultimate goal of this whole thing, I hope, is to just educate you. I am not by any means a pool specialist. I am not an attorney. I am not an expert in the field of ASR or pools. But I do have a lot of knowledge now fighting in the courts with insurance companies and the builders and the subs and everything else. So I kind of want to go over not only to the people that have ASR, but we're going to also dig into the buying of a house that might have a pool and what to look for to protect yourself. We're going to go over if you're going to sell your house, and what if you do have ASR or don't have ASR with a pool, and how to go over those hurdles so that people within our industry in real estate do a better job or do the best job that we can for the clients that are out there. So really looking forward to having this time with you guys. So just tune in, and hopefully you get a whole bunch out of it. If you have any questions, you can always call me or email me, and I'm pretty quick to respond on that. So we're going to go over a couple things. First, the things that we've learned. So since I started dealing with this in 2021, we now know that at first we thought maybe there was about 1,500 pools that had been affected by this. We now know that there's upwards, based off of the math that we've done with permits, and there's 150 builders that have had this or more. There's, I think, 6 concrete companies that are kind of on the hook for this. But ultimately, we're probably closer to, like I said before, 7,000 pools. So most communities have been affected by this all over Central Texas. We have all the way down to El Paso, the coast, we've gotten them, San Antonio. So it's not just here in Austin like we originally thought. It's very widespread. Not really Dallas per se, but Waco is probably the furthest that I've seen so far. We have been trying to put bills together to go into the Texas Senate to try to pass. That has been a lengthy process, and Lisa Steigerwald has done an amazing job fighting for everybody. I mean, if there was an Aaron Brockovich of this, it's her. And she has just poured herself into this, being a person that went through 40 of these cases herself as a builder, not even knowing what ASR was. She has brought so much to the table as far as our Facebook groups that we've created, getting a CE class for real estate agents. So, our goal kind of was to take a really bad situation, and then how do we empower people to hopefully be able to walk through this journey during it, because it is hell. It is a pool, which is a luxury item, but ultimately, I'm sorry, but when you're staring at the back of something that you worked for, it is just trashed. You have no idea. So we don't want someone to go through that, and the people that are going through it, we want to help. There are great pool builders out there right now, okay? There are people that are not great pool builders, right? So if you go through this and you'd like a couple recommendations of people that I trust, that actually understand this and are still in business, then give me a call, and I can refer you to some people that I truly trust. And Kelly is one of those, and he'll be on the podcast to kind of go over what he does later. Some of the things, most people are sitting in court. There has not been a whole bunch of payouts. Some people have been really lucky and blessed by the sense that they have gotten some actual money back from it. A lot of us are sitting in bankruptcy courts right now. The M-Law is still sitting and could not be done for maybe even another year. So we're talking multiple years. I got a phone call from a lady yesterday who had the same builder I did, and her pool was built in 22. There are people almost every single week that join the Facebook group that now just see things. Some of them don't even know what ASR is, which I don't even know how. I mean, like I said before, I think most people that have a pool know somebody, or if they don't have a pool, they know somebody that's been affected by this. So, basically where we are currently is we're all still sitting in court. Some people have been paid out. Insurance companies have basically put their hands up and defaulted. Everyone's trying to blame everybody else. So it's a crap show across the board. It is, a lot of money being spent on attorneys. The attorneys are, kind of at their wits' end with all of this. So, if you're somebody new to finding out that you do have ASR, the process is going to be a lot harder unless you can really talk to the insurance companies based off of kind of, what we're seeing out there, because, it is just so many more people are ahead and there's only so much money out there, right? I mean, the bankruptcy that we're in, I think there's only 10 or 11 million dollars, and there's 300 people, and the average pool is anywhere between 150 to $350,000 on doing a redo on the pool. The new laws that we're trying to get passed right now are more on trying to, make the concrete carriers. There's different kinds of concrete that's out there. You have, which is crazy to me. It's kind of like going back to the lead paint days, right? Now imagine if you go to Sherwin-Williams and you walked in and they said, yeah, would you like lead paint or this paint that's certified without lead? That doesn't exist anymore because of the laws that were passed back in, I don't even know if it was the 70s or the early 80s, to eliminate lead from paint, right? Well, today, there's still graded ASR, guaranteed no ASR concrete you can get, which is a little bit more expensive, or this. So we're trying to eliminate the this, right? We feel like when you go to buy a pool and you're spending your hard-earned $100,000, $200,000, that there should not be any other option on the table, right? It should be this. And that's kind of what we're fighting for, is to start making more regulation to make people more responsible for the products that they're sending out to everybody. So, we're fighting for that for you guys. And if you're looking to get involved, just get with your local congressman or whoever and tell them that it's important to you, and we'll try to get that passed. The city of Lakeway, I've had a couple meetings on this, and they're doing some cool stuff where they're allowing no costs on permits and things like that, and trying to speed up the process for people that do have it. Not too sure yet on the city of Austin and where they are. But like communities like Lakeway are already really stringent and hard on the inspection part of things in the process. So, they're doing a pretty good job there. So one of the main things I wanted to kind of discuss today on the real estate side of things, and we'll get back into towards the end of this, what you can do if you have it currently. If you're looking to buy a house and build a pool, like how do you protect yourself, and some of the things that you can do to be proactive. And we're going to go through all that. But first, what I wanted to do before I go into the product side of things, and by the way, on the product side of things, it took us 6 to 8 months to develop a product on the jumbo side, so $800,000 loans plus, where we can actually try to figure out a way or a plan or a mortgage to be able to help people other than your traditional, like, hey, I'm just going to pay cash for it, or pull a HELOC out of the house. And we're going to go over that as well. It's pretty exciting stuff. All right. So let's say you're a buyer, right? And I'm going to be very blunt when I say this. And some real estate agents love me for it, and some don't, and I don't care. I don't care if they hate me for it. But when I pre-approve someone and they're a buyer, and there's a lot of people that move to Austin, Texas, right? They've never, ever heard of ASR. They know, like, oh, you're doing pool inspection, but they're not educated like a lot of the people are now. I mean, pools that are built, especially after 2020 to 23, 22, really scare people, right? And a lot of the people have really great equity built up in their house and they want to sell their houses. So first I want to just kind of talk about with buyers and, the buying agents, and a lot of them have been coming to the CE classes and getting educated, but it's kind of like, what do I do if I'm out looking for a house, I get pre-approved, and I'm searching, and I want a pool. It's 105 degrees in Texas. Everybody wants a pool, right? The first thing you want to do is you want to get with the seller, and you want to ask them these questions. You want to know what year was the pool built. You want to know who built it. You need to know who shot the pool and what material was used. Was it shotcrete? Was it gunite? And you really want to kind of understand all that. And what we do is we have a pending list of all the builders that are out there that have been through our Facebook group, which we have a lot of people on there. And we do a survey to see what year your pool was, who shot it, what materials it was used. And we've gathered all that information so that if you come to me and you say, hey, Jay, I want to buy this house, and I'm like, well, it's this year, it's this pool builder, and this is who shot it. We're able to kind of look at you and say, like, you might want to get a core sample done. Now, core samples, some people have gotten, and some don't, but the core samples cost anywhere between $6,000 and $10,000. So it's not an easy process. They have to take a core out of the ground about this big out of the pool, so you have to drain the pool, and then you got a circular hole that you have to fill. So it's not the prettiest of things, and it's expensive, so not a lot of people are just going to go out and do that before they sell their house. So a lot of these things, help us decide whether this is a possible good pool or a possible risk. When pools have been shot with gunite, we have seen such a small, and I mean a very, very small amount of pools have had any issue if they were with gunite. 99% or somewhere around there of the pools that have all these issues are shotcrete. And the whole lesson on how that takes place is something that we're not going to go through here, but that's pretty much what you want to know. When you go to buy a house, so you go under contract, you've gotten some information, you're going to do a pool inspection. We have a couple really good inspectors that understand ASR. They know what to look for. And I'm going to tell you this, honestly, there are bad people out there. And there's always bad people in every business, right? So there's people that, list a house that maybe might be uneducated. But I'm going to give you one example of a client came to me from another state and was looking to get pre-approved. The realtor said, talked a little bit about ASR, and gave them, and they didn't know what it was. They looked it up. They watched my video, and they asked me some questions. And they said, but this pool looks brand new. And I said, okay, well, just give me the information. So I went online, and I'm looking at the pictures, and I'm like, this pool looks like it was built like this year. That shouldn't be when you're telling me the pool was built in 22. So I said, we can go under contract on it, but I will advise that I would probably wait for what the pool inspector has to say and take a look at that. And then what I want you to do is, if the pool inspector comes back and has any weird inclination at all, listen to what they have to say, talk to your agent, and make the seller get you a core sample, because something doesn't smell right here. Nobody that I've ever met, and I've looked at hundreds of pools, and I'm sure that you're out there, I don't know any homeowner that, built a brand new pool in 22, and here we are in 25 when this was taking place. Why would you redo your whole pool? Why would you re-tile it? Why would you everything was kind of done new on the pool. So the explanation from the seller was, well, my wife didn't like the tile. And we were planning on staying in this house, so she just, wanted to put new tile on. When was that done? Well, that was done at the beginning of June. When did you list the house? The end of June. Yeah, we're just going to go live in our investment property. Well, come to find out, they did the pool inspection. And during the video, the back of the wall was wrapped. So the whole wall was tile. The side walls of the pool were also tiled, which is very rare on the back side. Why would you spend money to tile something no one is going to see? That's typically, just stucco. And in the video, he takes water and he wipes it down and he looks at it and he goes, they didn't even clean this. That's how new it is. So he said, based off of a couple cracks and things like that, which a smart pool inspector would do, he said, I would definitely make them get a core sample to check on this. Well, the seller basically came back and said, no, it doesn't have it. We just did this, blah, blah, blah. Well, they really wanted the house, so they went ahead and they did the core sample, and the core sample came back with ASR. So that's what I mean about people out there that, are doing things because they're trying to benefit themselves, and they don't care about you. They don't care about the nightmare that you're about to take. They care about themselves. So you got to be really diligent and listen to your gut and listen to people around you that care. And that's kind of what we're doing here and how we care. So when you're buying a house, ask all those questions. Not all pools are bad. There's some, really great pools. A couple concrete companies that are out there have zero ASR because they used gunite or they used the right materials and they knew what they were doing. So just take a look at that. Now on the seller side of things, this kind of blows my mind. First, I tell all real estate agents, don't take a listing until you've gotten all this information and you've vetted that this is a good house to sell. Why as a real estate agent would you go out and spend all the money you spend on advertising and pictures and your time and just everything that it takes to list a house? It's not easy, right? You got to do your due diligence to figure this out, because what's going to happen is those buyers are becoming more knowledgeable. The real estate agents are becoming more knowledgeable. And the first question they're going to ask is these questions when you have a listing with a pool. And the pool might look perfect. But I can tell you, looking at hundreds of pools, sometimes you just can't see it unless you dive and you swim it, right? So here's some things I would do as a seller, knowing what I know now. First, I would obviously go back and I would gather all the information on my pool. I would gather, who poured it, what year, have all that prepared and ready so that when someone asks, you're like, here you go. Make sure that, this is just my personal opinion. Some realtors like doing this, some don't. I'm the type of person that feels like, people are going to do inspections anyway, so why not get in front of it? I would do a home inspection myself because I know someone's going to do one, so I'd rather fix everything and show people my house is ready to go. Here's the inspection. Here's all the things I've fixed. Your pool is totally the same. Get a pool inspection. Show them all the things and all the reasons why your pool's good. And here's the inspection showing what you're about to look at anyway. Give them peace of mind when they're going to buy your house that they're not buying something that is going to become a nightmare for them. So I can tell you that a lot of realtors, I'll call and say, because someone will call me and it's like, God, I don't want to be the guy out there that everyone doesn't want to send a mortgage to because, they're going to be grilled about their pool because they're listing a house with a pool. But ultimately, I'm like, why not? Why would you do something that is under bar? Our jobs are to protect the clients, especially the real estate agents. And there's a lot of really good real estate agents that care out there. And there's always going to be a couple bad seeds, right? That are maybe just thinking about the money. But this is about people's lives, right? I mean, this is miserable to go through. It is one of the hardest things we've ever gone through in our lives. To this day, I'm still fighting and I got a hole in my backyard. So, just do the right thing. Now, we've kind of gone through the buyers. We've gone through what you're going to do if you're a listing agent. Now I kind of want to go through what options do you have, right? Now I could tell you that Fannie and Freddie, they know about this stuff, right? So if you go to sell your house, and this happens a lot now, say your house, we're just going to use round numbers. You have $1 million house, and that is $1 million with the pool, right? And you know the pool is going to cost, you've done the research, the pool is going to cost you $250,000 to get fixed. So what people are doing is they're saying, look, we'll devalue our house by $300,000. We're going to leave you this problem, but you're getting a deal on the house. Well, the issue is when you come in to get a mortgage, right, we're going to see the appraisal. The appraiser is going to state why the house is deducted, why the pool is no good, and all of that is going to be inside of the file. The underwriter that we have for a mortgage is going to see that, and that is going to be deemed unsafe. We can't sell that loan to Fannie and Freddie. So what we have to do with those situations is, one, we do a construction loan. We do a renovation loan where we actually take the price of the house now at $750,000. We get the new build cost of $250,000, and we do the mortgage together so that you're going to roll everything into the mortgage, and then you just bring in the down payment that you were going to bring in. Could be 10%, depending on what the appraisal is going to go for with the value, future value of the pool. So the appraiser is going to take the contract, he's going to take the builder's documents, and then he's going to go off of the comps of that same type of a house like the pool was there, right? That's one way that we can do it. Now, the biggest problem we've seen is in the jumbo territory, which is over $832,500 mortgage amount. So if you have a $1.5 million house and this were to come into fruition, there were no jumbo lenders out there that basically allow you to do this. So we spent, at Fairway, we have, I don't know, it's like 5,000 products. We have every jumbo lender under the sun. And we went to every single one of them and said, this is what this issue is, this is what we want to do, and all of them said no but one. So we now have that. We have developed a whole product on this. So what we do is we allow you to buy the house in the same exact way, and we allow you to go up to 20% of the future value. So if the house was $1.5 million with the pool in it, you're allowed to go 20% of that amount, right? So that's $300,000. So you can then build that into your mortgage, and we can do up to 90% loan to value, up to $3 million. So that's pretty cool, and that is with no mortgage insurance. That is a 30-year fixed. We have to vet the pool builder. We have to make sure that they're using ASR certified concrete. So all these different things, not only just to get you the mortgage that you want, but to protect you as well. So we do our due diligence with making sure the builder isn't currently in lawsuits. That's a no-no. So that is where we're trying to team up with the right builders that are not only vetted, but that can build you a quality pool so that, things can happen in the future, but we're going to do everything we can on our side to try to help protect you as well. If you're a seller and, you're going to have a couple different options, right? So one of the options is going to be, I just want to devalue the house and move on with my life. Well, now I just gave you the ways that you can do it. You can actually promote this product with your listing so that we can do the due diligence up front. You can have 2 builders you can get with us. We can get you a couple builders that aren't in lawsuits so that everything is kind of ready for that buyer to come in and negotiate and find a deal for you. The other thing you can obviously do is, you could do a HELOC on the house, and we could get you with a company that can, do a HELOC so that you can fix it all, and then sell your house with a brand new pool, right? So you don't have to worry about all this stuff. And my advice to you there is going to be getting with your real estate agent and looking at, okay, so let's just say we devalue the house and you walk away from it. What does that return on your investment look like? If you fix the pool and put it in, what are they going to be able to sell it for? What does that return on your investment look like? If you're going to make an extra $100,000 because you put in a brand new pool, well, that might make sense. Or maybe you're like a couple people here in Rough Hollow and Lakeway have done is they just said, you know what we're going to do? We're just going to rip the pool out. We're going to put sod in and maybe build a deck or something else. And they've done that. So you have a bunch of different options. And each option is different based off of the circumstance of the person, right? Just like a mortgage kind of is. So what we do is we want to put together the right plan for you based off of your equity amount, based off of your situation, and kind of how you want to look at everything. And that's where we come together with the right team to make sure that we're doing the right thing for you in that sense. The different things that you do have. You have a traditional HELOC where you can get an equity line of, say, $250,000, and you can slowly draw from it and just pay interest as you go. We have the construction products where we can build it all into the same mortgage. Now, if you have a 2.75% first lien and you're going to stay in this house, it may not benefit you to obviously roll everything into one mortgage, right? So that's kind of where we look at the rate difference between taking your first mortgage and a HELOC and what that merged rate looks like versus doing one mortgage altogether. And again, it all has to do with your loan to value, because you can use these products if you're above 80% loan to value, but in the state of Texas, you have to be under 80% or lower in order to get an equity line, right? So the equity line might not fall into play if you don't have the value there, and then we have to pivot and kind of roll everything into one. Obviously, if you can pay cash, pay cash. So to kind of wrap all this up, it's a lot of information. It's like a fire hose coming at you. I totally understand it, but I want you to know that I'm here for you, that we have really good agents that are understanding of all this. So if you need to talk to somebody, I can, refer you to some really good agents based off of your area. And, there are ways to help you in all possible situations. The other cool thing to finish this is this product isn't just to redo a pool. So you can rip it out and just put the sod in if you want. And we go off the future value of what that's going to look like. You can add landscaping to it. You could build a deck. There's many different things that you can do with these products if that's what you're looking to do. If you're looking to buy a brand new house, most lenders will not let you do a pool unless the builder of that home builds the pool also, and builders do not want to do that. They do not, right? So what we can do with this product is, if you find a new home or you find a home and you don't want to mess with pools, you want to design your own pool, these products, you can buy a house, get your pool plans, and roll everything in, close on your house, and then build your pool. So we have an array of products that are out there and available to kind of help you, and we just got to kind of figure out which one is going to suit your needs, your family needs, and kind of go from there. So in a nutshell, this has been a hell of a ride. We're going on almost 4 years for myself. Learned a lot, trying to pour out a lot, trying to give everybody as much information as I can. I think the next podcast that I do with Kelly, it's going to be really good for you to kind of hear from a builder's perspective of what he's gone through, what he's doing to try to help people, the discounts he's been giving to try to help people that have this issue. And hopefully, we can get through some things so that it just makes you more knowledgeable on the situation of pools. So appreciate you guys. Appreciate you listening. Hopefully you made it this far. If you did, watch the next podcast. We have some exciting stuff coming up. Have a great week. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you later.